Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So we got a lot of things going on. We got a Turkish uprising over here. We got a royalist uprising over here. We're on our way to a republic. I'm realizing, I think, actually, that increasing, changing governance principles actually takes a lot longer than other things. I think it's just got a longer cycle. Anyway, just wanted to close the... because I mentioned that, and I was like, huh, what is that? Shewa, I noticed, now that they're no longer in a civil war, is very low in liberty desire, and I think I have the ability to turn them into a subject, into a puppet. All my puppets are low in liberty desire, except, and Hungary is at moderate. So let's reduce Shewa. Let's decrease their autonomy. Shabamzo. We're going to reduce subject payments, same as we always do. That seems to have affected my finances in some kind of negative way. Not sure why that is. But let's get these wars going. There's the war with the royalist revolt popping off. Shewa sides with Egypt in this. Turkish uprising have begun embargoing us. Okay, that's fine. Weird. I guess because they started in the thing, they were able to. Well, that probably spells doom for the Egyptian proletarian revolt, but I suppose it depends whether or not Egypt has a fleet, and they don't. Because probably... Oh, neither of these two states are the proletarian revolt's capital. Oh my gosh, Blue Nile's their capital. That's wild. Alright. Anyway, let's follow these wars. This one is a win for us. This battle over here. This battle over here is also a... Come on! Come on! Get him, get him, get him, get him! Yes, alright. That seems to be a win for us. At least, eventually. We're charting the terrain. Alright, so hopefully this royalist war will not be too big of a deal. And we'll be able to simply get done with this within a reasonable time frame. Reasonable time frames are a core element of Victoria 3. Ooh, actually, the Western Serbia part of the revolt closing out fast is really, really good for us. Northern Thrace is 28% occupied by us. Turkish uprising supporting separatism. Yeah, that's not shocking. We're up to 61%. The royalist revolts. Turkish uprising is close to popping off. I suspect these fronts will merge, but they might not. We'll see. I've got some soda. I forgot to get some water. So, at some point during this, I'll probably run away and grab water. Cash flow is down extremely bad, but, oh boy, there's something going on in Siam over here. Mendeley Uprising. Crushed Mendeley Uprising. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know what to make of this. Other than that it'd be pretty based if these guys won. Do I have the ability to intervene? Excuse me. The real question is it sensible if I intervene? I do have the ability to. I can only get an obligation, but also it would be fun. Who else is going to get involved over here? But also, I'm in the middle of 2 wars. And I should really fight those wars before dealing with this other thing. Nah, I'm not going to go... I'm not going to go building up democratic republics in Southeast Asia. Very close to having full control of Northern Thrace, and the royalist revolts. Getting a very good progress here in Macedonia. This is Western Thrace, I think. Oh boy! All right, this isn't great. Newspapers across the world are reporting about war crimes committed by our soldiers during a recent conflict with the Turkish rebels. The number of children killed in these massacres is something enormous. They were often spitted on bayonets, and we have several stories. Oh, Jesus. Several stories from eyewitnesses who saw little babies carried out carried about the streets, both here and at Olukni, on the points of bayonets. Ugh. Oh, that is extreme. J.A. McGann, the Daily News. Oh, this is a real thing that happened. Awesome. Although, we don't know by who to whom. But, obviously this is really bad, and it doesn't really matter by who to whom when we're talking about children. So, these are horrific lies. We get 30 infamy. Western Thrace gets 30% devastation. Horrific reprisals, -3 standard of living, plus 30% immigration push, plus 50% mortality. Not great. Publicly hang Zuko Lagumjida. Oh boy. Lagumjija for these crimes. Intelligentsia gets scapegoated. -4 approval for 10 years, decaying. The general dies. We get 15 infamy, 30% devastation, and horrific reprisals. Our contacts in Sardinia-Piedmont will vouch for us. We get 10 infamy. Deteriorates relations by 30% devastation, and horrific reprisals. Or the next rebels will get much worse. 50 infamy, -20%. -20% suppression impact on political movement attraction, -20% political movement activism. Western Thrace gets 30% devastation, Western Thrace gets horrific reprisals. Okay, so there's no way to prevent the horrific reprisals. That's really, really awful. 50 infamy is an absolute no-sell. I don't wish to deteriorate. So, here's the calculation. I think 5 extra infamy is worth it to take out the general that did this. Like, this is like an unbelievable level of brutality, and we are a modern parliamentary republic. We are not some kind of we are not the sort of people who can simply let this slide. So yeah, we're going to take out this general. That's going to goof up one of our armies real bad. We'll give the guy who's still in charge some promotions. Obviously, the intelligentsia are going to be salty, but the intelligentsia are not a major factor in our politics at present. Where's my list? Yeah, they're not in it. They're not in it to win it. Alright. Well, we'll leave the Mandalay thing alone right now. What is this? A Witu radical revolt. Ooh, that's not ideal, friends. Let's grab an army and move them down here. Oh boy. Fronts are bad here, friends. This revolt is huge. Do I have the ability to... to switch sides? No, because we're in a war together. Alright, well that's fine. That's a shame, because I would love Witu to be held by a universal suffrage republic instead of an autocratic monarchy. But them's the bricks. Hopefully this will get done. And maybe I'll actually demobilize armies. Oh boy, Vicky 3 is running real slow today. How's the battle going? Should, and there's the end of the revolt. So, both of these states are still incorporated. I need to reset production methods. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Yes, that's what should be doing. Should be doing steamships. I'm gonna leave one place producing reinforced wooden hulls. I think that's the right call. Alright, my landowners have become demarginalized somehow, but I guess not for much longer. Let's demobilize the 4th and 2nd armies. How long is this going to take? Can I get a read on this? I actually think it's going to be faster to fight the war than it is going to be to demobilize armies. So I'm just going to wait. We'll send troops down. Again, demobilizing armies is a bit of a liability. This is a little shocking. But let's wait a little bit to see if this sorts itself out. I don't want to raise taxes right now. Russia is damaging relations. Well, that's curious. You know what? I'm comfortable with that. How are things going with Hungary? Hungary is still going down in relations. I'm going to... I'm already improving relations with Hungary. Alright, we need a better... Yeah, I know, but you're out of supply, and I can't do anything about that. You know what I need to do is I need to get my fleet over here and naval invade. That's how I need to solve this problem. Because they don't have any... Well, they're technically in exile because we're not technically in a war on the same side with Turkey right now. Hey, 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 hey. Where are you going? Johnny, why are you over there? Dang it! What the heck? They teleported to the place they weren't supposed to be located at. Ah, that's fine. I'm sure they'll be fine once they take Zanzibar. If they can't, we're going to need to... Okay, I'm going to station an army in the Marina... Why can't I do that? This is so weird. Right, well, we're going to do our best with this. Come on, Parliamentary Republic. A soldier's republic? Close associates of Bozdar Pleknek have been spotted in the company of several... I think this is Plesnik. I think I've been saying it wrong. I think it's Plesnik. Have been spotted in the company of several reform-minded military offers, including Dragisa Bozinovic. These activities raise concerns of a forced coup against the emperor. Regardless of any reason that he may conjure, his presence in the company of that hateful individual is evidence of certain hazardous inclinations. I've given you all that I could assemble on the matter. For the sake of the integrity of the throne, I beseech you to assess this with all due haste. Make an example of him for sedition. 2% of trade unions pops become more radical. Armed forces become salty. Reduce enactment chance, he will no longer be a general. Or we cannot thin the ranks of the military on mere suspicion. Increase enactment chance. I'm going to go with the second one. It's going to put us up at 97%. Hopefully this time we get it. 219 days. So hopefully this won't be too unreasonable here. Alright. Anyway, here's hoping this army sorts itself out. This war sorts itself out real good. I am going to do a naval invasion still. It's going to take a while, but it's going to be worth. Again, these armies don't have any organization, but hopefully they'll still be able to win battles using their material and technological superiority. And then once we've got a hold of Zanzibar, we should be good to go. Obviously, the attrition here is going to be murder, but you know, them's the breaks. This went a little silly. All right, here we go. So now they should be in supply. So now they should be in supply. Anyway, this army will be in supply at least. Well, what a strange war. Witu, you mostly beefed it, but these things happen. Wish I could have sided on the other side of it because it seems like that would have been better, but them's the breaks. Alright, we have some electricity shortages. I'm going to start building again because I have the capacity to. Slavonia, Thessaly, and Macedonia. Yeah, we need one more level of power plants here. Thessaly. Oh, this is Thessaly. And then Macedonia. Yep. 2 more levels here. And Slavonia is up here. Where's power? Here, we need 2 more levels. That should be fine. That should be completely workable. Ella Lovelace. Interesting. I don't know who that is, but sounds like an historical thing. Alright, there we go. Alright, cash flow's looking a lot better. We're paying a lot in interest, but we're also paying a lot in construction. We're quite in excess of our needed bureaucratic capacity. Institutions are looking fine. Let's go ahead and reduce the size of the government. So, I'm just going to look at this. I am suffering from... Oh, I'm suffering from low taxation capacity in some areas. Quite a bit, in fact. Eastern Serbia. How close am I to... Okay, so I'm currently working on central planning. I've already got telephone. Or I'm currently working on NCO training. I've already got telephone. I need central planning in order to get telephone switchboards. I'm closing in on political agitation. That's gonna be great for the country. So we'll snag central planning, and then we'll circle back. Actually, we're doing pretty well for production, all things considered. Let's go with plastics. And then I'm feeling pretty good about our overall setup here. So, anyway, that doesn't really answer the taxation capacity. It's going to be a while, so I need to deal with my shortages of taxation capacity. Eastern Serbia, I need 2 more government buildings. Montenegro, I need 2 more government buildings. And Kosovo, I need 4. Let's just do a quick sweep to make sure everyone else is good. Alright. Now, we have to ask ourselves, who's over? I think I built a bunch of extra over here during the beginning of the last war. Yeah, okay, so we're a little over in taxation capacity here in Bosnia. I should be able to cut 3 levels without a problem. There we go. Good to go. Croatia, we're also a little over. Let's cut 4 levels. Oop, I cut 5 instead. Taxation capacity is... Nope, I need to build another one. I'm dumb. Dalmatia, we're actually way over. Why did they change... That shouldn't happen. That should not happen. That is not a good mechanic. Please do not. Victoria 3. Western Serbia. Taxation capacity is wildly out of step with taxation capacity needs. Still pretty high. I've decreased the amount too fast, so I'll need to allow these present government administrations that I'm building to finish out. Whew, we got a lot of diplomatic plays going on over here. Let's take a quick pass through them. We have a Shan revolt in Burma. I can safely ignore this. We have a liberal revolt in Perak. I can safely ignore this. These are both in Southeast Asia. We have a Shan revolt in the Shan states. A Shan radical revolt in the Shan states. These I can safely ignore. We have a Moravia revolt in Portuguese East Africa. I might have wanted to intervene in this, but it's too late. We have a socialist revolt in Assah. I can safely ignore that. We have a modernist revolt in Jabal Shamar, which I can safely ignore. We have a modernist revolt in Mayurbanj, which is part of Hindustan. I can safely ignore that. And then finally, we have an abolitionist revolt in Bhutan, which is against the British. I am going to ignore that. So, I'm good on taxation capacity. I'm good on cash flow. So, let the good times roll in. I'm pleased. Let me just make sure I didn't over-reduce. Kosovo, I think they're just having trouble hiring. No? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. Beautiful. So, Circassia is improving relations. That's fine. So, where am I with debt? I'm bashing through about $250,000 of debt per week. I got about 21 million in debt, so that's going to be about a year until I'm out of debt, which I do want to be because I'm paying a lot in interest. But you did beef it pretty hard. You are colonizing, which is interesting. Germany desires. So they want to give me a pile of sulfur. They want to march armies through. They want to allow me to march armies through my territory. They want trade privileges, investment rights, and military access. Let's negotiate. I don't wish to give you investment rights. Trade privileges I'm fine with. And they want to give me a pile of sulfur. That's fine. That seems like all advantages. Can I get away with no trade privileges? I think I might be able to. Yeah, let's do it. Beautiful. An Egyptian uprising in American Egypt. That's. I guess that was to be expected. So, I do have a South German national movement. That's quite curious. And there's Parliamentary Republic. So, the time of Miloš Obrenović II has ended. Milutin Brankovic is the new Chancellor of Yugoslavia. So, the landowners have become a non-factor in our politics. Our leading man is the leader of the trade unions. And, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. He is cautious, which reduces infamy generation. That's really good. He's an experienced diplomat, and he's a traditionalist commander. So all that makes me feel real good. But I am extremely short on authority. Let's go ahead and reduce some consumption taxes. I need to cut, actually, a bunch. So I think the most efficient way to do that is to cut... It's never to cut services. We'll start with cutting transport, and then we'll cut opium. And I can live with this shortage of authority. That should be completely fine. I do have political agitation spreading to me, so that's going to give me a little bit more authority to play around with as we get going along here. How is Hungary? They are heading towards being low in liberty desire. That's pretty good. And I'm sitting pretty. I'm feeling pretty good. The industrialists are eventually going to get over... If I end up with enough authority... Let me get rid of that. I do have a South German national movement. Which I do wish to suppress, although it's going to cost me a lot. Let's wait till I snag political agitation, and then we'll kind of see how that looks. Whew! I got through my wars. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm feeling extremely good about that, in fact. How is the country doing? I am infamous, which is unfortunate. Let me see. 80% domestically owned GDP. That's not bad. 17 million GDP owned in Russia, Sweden, German Empire, Finland, and the USGA. The USGA a minor yet? No. I can't subjugate them. Not yet. Insufficient construction for construction. Well, that's not a message you see every day. See, that's why I did all that nationalizing. So, let's build up some construction sectors. First, we'll build everything that's at 2 or an odd number up. And then, so puts us at 70. Let's go up to 80. Let me see. We'll build 4 in Bosnia, 4 in Bulgaria, and 2 in Eastern Serbia. And that will be nice. This will cost us a small amount of money. This is a really extreme increase in the size of the construction sector, but hopefully it will lead to massive investment by the private sector in construction, and that would be really good. We are experiencing some shortages of construction efficiency, but it's only due to devastation, and that will sort itself out. There's a lot of devastation in Russia. Germany really did a number on Russia's western states over here. They still got Nikolai Romanov ruling. That's incredible. Look at all these movements. It's interesting. And there's NCO training. Beautiful. So, let's upgrade our armies. That is absolutely crucial. And there's political agitation. That's still not ideal. I've got a lot of support separatisms happening in the country, but hopefully I can... Hopefully once I'm not as infamous. Oh, this is why I shouldn't drink soda in the morning, because I'm burping like crazy. Like crazy. Oh, man. Businesses are not as profitable as I was hoping they would be. I am experiencing quite a bit of unemployment, so maybe I should reduce away some of these labor-saving methods. Okay, so I went to Furniture Industries to water tube boiler down from rotary valve engine. Seems like the grocery industry wants patent stills. Let's try that. It's even worse. Buddy, you're doing even worse. Go back to rotary valve. And the furniture... No, that is worse. But you say you'll be doing worse for pot stills. I don't know what to make of this. These predictions are difficult to understand. Yeah, furniture industries are definitely better with water tube boiler. Tooling workshops, what about you? Paper mills? You think you'll be doing better with water tube boiler? Let's try it. So what does that do? Okay, so that is reducing unemployment. By a little bit. Steel mills, we go to water tube boiler. That does make them more efficient. Motor industries... to water tube boiler, that makes them much more efficient. Okay, alright, so we can't be in, we can't be labor-saving maxing just yet. We do have one of our subject states, who is this? That's in Turkey, producing, wooden frame ships. That means I can safely make all of the shipyards in Yugoslavia produce steamships. That's fine. I do have one more artillery method. Alright, what is this? Trucial Uprising. So it's an obligation will back them against Great Britain. No, thank you. No, thank you, sir. Galeti has finished colonizing the rest of Oromia. So, unfortunately, Galeti, your service is appreciated. But this is part of increases liberty desire by 100. Oh, that's very funny. Shame that, but this is Ethiopian territory, and we're about to see. Their liberty desire is going down really fast. If I increase their autonomy, it will fall back below 70. I think that's actually the right call. So this ultimately, though, does serve my goal of creating a... oh, Ausa is holding a... oh, they're a British protectorate. Well, gosh dang it. Britain, stop taking tiny protectorates. Everyone disliked that. I need to grab the rest of Mombasa for Witu. Tanganyika, Masai, Nilotic, and Ma. Nilotic heritage, Ma culture. Come on, lock in. I want to see. Nilotic is heritage group African. Witu is Swahili, who are Eastern Bantu heritage and Swahili language. Alright, so I actually don't want to take over all of Mombasa. I only want to take the capital in Rift Valley for Witu. Well, this territory is also largely Maasai. Curious. We'll wait on that. I don't necessarily want to put people in a situation where they'll be discriminated against. Cash flow is doing just fine. I'm paying a lot less in interest. I'm almost done knocking down my national debt. The Empire of Japan is going after Sahara again, because it's not the first time. Yoshida Yamato, a non-historical figure. Interesting. They decided to do state Shintoism even. So fair enough. How's my... okay, my South German national movement needs to be suppressed. So let's cut some more consumption taxes. It's still going to be more efficient for me to cut all three of these than it is to increase... than it is to cut my one of them and my services tax. So we're gonna leave the services tax for now. This is interesting. This is a much tougher late game with without the ability to with all these national movements kind of being a problem for me. So, from here, what are my ambitions? It'd be nice to get higher wages. Businesses are still broadly profitable. Reducing labor saving in farms is not going to help. What if we do the steam donkey in our mines? That is going to increase their profitability. That's good. Rail transit for cotton plantations. That's good. That's working. Same for tobacco plantations. That seems to be working okay. Silk and vineyards. Let's get the barracks up to NCO incorporation. That's something that became available when we got NCO training. London camps, we can do chainsaws. I don't think I got the oil to sustain that, though. We can do refrigerated rail cars for fishing wharves. That's probably right. Let's switch all these to privatizing. Oil stations will do the same. Oil rigs. Let's enable tanker cars. That's going to make them much more efficient. All right. Alright, quick pass through my businesses has yielded good results. Economy is continuing to grow. Empire of Japan is damaging relations. Wish you wouldn't, buddy. Don't know why you would want to damage relations with me. Yugoslavian politeness will not be resisted. Railroad boom. The growth of branch lines along the main rail routes has been immensely valuable to the growth of our burgeoning rail industry. A child has been arrested for picking up coal alongside newly laid tracks. If the youth had been smart enough to steal the whole railroad, he would have been hailed as the Napoleon of industry. The railroads of Dalmatia shall prosper, extra railway building throughput, or the locomotive builders of Western Serbia should benefit from this boom. Extra motor industries throughput. I'm going to go with the motor industries throughput. I'm always hurting for motor industries throughput. Now that we've made those changes, let's take a quick look at where we are in terms of our need for sort our market. We're short on rubber, we're short on radios. We're short on ironclads, which are bringing a bunch in from outside the country. Let's do an ironclad expansion. Is Dalmatia not producing any military ships? Crazy. Where am I producing all my military ships? Montenegro. Why are you so... Oh. Because you're not producing the type of ships you need to be producing. Hold, please. Hold, please. None of them were. Okay. Well, that explains it. All right. Well, let's increase the size of the military shipyards industry. But I was going to look at railway transportation prices. Transportation prices are mostly good. Thessaly and Albania, we need to build some new railways. But that should be fine. Croatia, we could use a few. Oh, you can mouse over to get the local consumption, local production numbers. Okay, so that's good. So Thessaly, we're going to need... I actually don't remember how many are produced per level with electric Wait, am I doing electric railway? I am. 55 total, which means 25 per level. Ish. The 5% throughput bonus. Yeah, so that's definitely like 25 total. So with a local price need of 480. Oh, urban centers are producing a bunch. Railways are producing 81. This makes no sense. I'm lost, friends. Let's build 4 levels. It's probably 4 levels. Surely you will not regret building 4 levels of railways. Now, Albania. What's the shortage here? Quite a few. Let's go ahead and add in 5 levels. Oh my gosh, I'm making all sorts of mouth noises. This is completely unprofessional. And then Croatia. We're just a little short. Let's build 4 levels. We'll keep the military shipyards in ahead. This does put me in the red, but not too badly. A very respectable, moderate amount of in the red. Japan is going after a Tunisian uprising. Where? Here. Interesting. Tunis is part of the German Empire. Aitabas is part of Japan. What a curious thing. Maybe the Germans will intervene. So far, it seems only the Spanish are intervening. We lost a general. Take a quick run at the armies. All right, we need spare generals in some of these armies. Any trade unionists? No. We got a rural folk fella. So we'll give him a couple of promotions. This guy's 44, so he's not likely to die anytime soon. This guy's 45, so same deal. So second army should be good. Alright, we have United States of Greater Austria sides of the Empire of Japan. That's interesting. There's a socialist revolt happening in Turkey. I don't feel I'm going to need to mobilize my conscripts to deal with this. I feel like my modern high-tech armies will be more than adequate to the task of defeating this problem. So, let's simply set our forces to it. Great Britain sides of the Empire of Japan. Alright, so there's basically a general European war happening over Tunisia. Do I wish to get involved? If I wish to get involved, nobody wants me involved. I would be on the side of Spain against the USGA and Britain and Japan. No, I don't think that's not useful to me. What am I drinking this time? I'm drinking zero sugar Dr. Pepper because it's the morning. I have the day off, and I'm trying to keep my energy up. I rarely drink caffeinated sodas. Turkish Socialist Revolt is attempting to sway us to their side in the diplomatic play against Turkey. What a fascinating situation. Germany might get involved, but they can't if I switch sides, I don't think. So, socialism in Turkey, you say. Turkey is currently a universal suffrage parliamentary republic with subjected citizenship. They have free speech. They have protected speech, no labor rights, interventionism, mercantilism, and a National Guard internal security system. They do have the slave trade. They have anti-strike laws. But they do have public education and charity hospitals. So this is a pretty functioning country overall. On the other hand, Turkish Socialist Revolt, Universal Suffrage Council Republic, cooperative ownership, workers' protections, which we do like, citizenship subject to state atheism, which is not great. Turkey's not doing state atheism, are they? Oh, they are! Bananas, why are you doing state atheism? What an interesting offer. I'm going to have to decline, though. I'm not, you know, I'm role-playing a social democratic state, but I don't necessarily want a cooperative ownership country right near me. So we're gonna stay where we are. We're gonna keep things on the level. Gonna keep it chill. Investment pool is increasing in cash as I build up. Ooh, electric arc process for steel mills. Let's take a quick look at local electricity prices. There are some places that need more power plants. Actually, quite a few. So Thessaly will be fine. Albania will need 1 level, it looks like. Northern Thrace will need 2 levels. Croatia, 4 levels. Slavonia, 5 levels. Northern Thrace, 2. Croatia, 4. Slovenia. I should have said Slovenia. I said Slavonia. I should have said Slovenia. Actually, I think Slovenia will only need... Where is it? We'll only need 4 levels. Now, steel is quite expensive in our customs union right now. So I could go to electric arc process. I think I will. We're exporting a lot of our delicious refined steel, which everyone in the world desires for the construction of buildings with. I'm sorry, I keep fiddling with my my sound. I hope that doesn't goof up the sound over there. So let's take a shot at it. Doesn't seem like they're profitable. More profitable with rotary valve? Less. Okay, where do we got steel mills? Mostly Western Serbia, South Serbia, Bosnia, Kosovo. We're going to need to build a lot of power plants in order to make this work. Let's go back to open hearth process for now. It's going to require a lot of power. How much subsidy am I paying to power plants right now? Not much, truth be told. Power plants are pretty efficient business-wise. Can I give our lads Yugoslavian Steel control over the power plants? I cannot. Oh, because it costs authority. Well, them's the breaks. Alright. Let's get this war done. I think this is going to be relatively straightforward. Transportation shortages in Thessaly and Albania. Or no, electricity shortage in Albania. Oh, right. I'm working on that. Transportation shortage in Thessaly. I'm working on that. So this should be fine. This should be fine. First set of military repairs is almost done. And the first set is all of them, it turns out, because I built up a huge construction capacity. So at this stage, I'm using squad infantry, which make my armies just so very efficient at winning battles. I say! I say! And hopefully this will keep me ahead of everyone else as we get going into the modern era. I should take a quick look at what the other GPs are doing. Britain, do you have squad infantry yet? You do not. You have a few. You have some. What about Germany? Germany does have squad infantry. Alright, so we're on the level with our fellow great powers. So what this says to me is I need to swing back and finish out and rush the rest of the tier 5. Actually, no. I need to get mobile armor. And then I need to finish out the tier 5 military ones. That's what I need to do. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about the fact that that sound plays every time you pop back in. I don't love it as a decision. It was a little bit of an odd choice. Do I own all my power plants? Because I've got a lot of levels of power plants, and I could bring in a lot of money by... No, I'm privatizing those power plants. And they are largely privately owned. Yeah, alright, perfect. System working as intended. Violent suppression leads to increased discrimination. Radicals in Vojvodina seem to be getting support from the discriminating Hungarian citizens within the state. If they want to protest, we should let them. They'll likely only make things worse if we try to force them to submit. If we have to deal with them in the future, they'll be all in one place and much easier to take care of. We say where they can and cannot protest. Happier armed forces increase radicalism from discrimination. Or let them protest where they want. Salty armed forces slightly increase radicalism from discrimination. Extra migration attraction. I'm going to pick the second one. The armed forces' opinions do not need to matter to me because the armed forces are marginalized. This is going to be a really interesting election in 25, which is actually, we're hurtling towards it right now. Let's hope the Social Democrats can keep a hold of things. Although I've got a lot more flexibility now that I'm a Parliamentary Republic. I'm also in a righteous government, which I'm feeling pretty pleased with. And even on top of that, I'm experiencing mass loyalization in a way that I have not experienced... Well, I've experienced to a certain extent, but still really good. Alright, crisis of health. A prominent Yugoslavian political exile, Dragan Paskas, this guy was a corporatist line for rural folk, is getting his legs sawed off really loudly, has fallen severely ill during his time overseas. He's petitioned to return home for enough time to seek medical treatment. The character of a man matters not. Pestilence may well come for them all the same. I think this guy was a guy who basically fled on his own accord. He should face the consequences of his actions. He dies. We can afford to display mercy to the sick. He increases health, we get prestige. Or he may feel free to stay after he's treated. He becomes employed in Yugoslavia. And the same effects as we can afford to display mercy. I'm just going to say we can afford to display mercy. That's fine. He was a citizen once and he will be again. Anti-Egyptian Association is disbanded. That's interesting. I didn't realize I had one of those, to be completely honest. I can now turn Hungary into a subject, but what's Galeti looking like? Galeti is actually pretty low in liberty desire, so I'm going to do that. Decrease autonomy. Shabamzo. Reduce subject payments. Shabamzo. They are at 71 liberty desire. We're currently at cordial, but I can save some influence if I absolve the obligation, increasing relations to amicable and ending my improved relations. Okay, a lot of rivalries have been broken between Transylvania. Because I've reduced Hungary to a puppet, so now they can't be rivals to anybody. Unconventional guest. The Anti-Austrian Association has been frequently hosting August Vidasek as an honored guest and speaker. This is now drawing the attention of Austrian officials. August Vidasek commands the attention of all in attendance. Leaders of the Anti-Austrian Association welcome Vidasek's political acumen. Lobby members remark on this fortuitous association. With August Vidasek in our ranks, we can expose all the artifice employed by the United States of Greater Austria. Okay, perhaps these salons should not meet so frequently, reduces their appeasement by one, or he's very knowledgeable, deteriorates relations with Austria. I'm fine with deteriorating relations with Austria. Those guys are jerks. Those guys are jerks, and I don't like them. We are now a little bit short of mana wars, but it occurs to me, I don't know why I'm looking at the bottom for something I'm short of. I am subvening import. I am actually mostly exporting. I'm exporting a ton of these, but all the ones that I'm getting for. That's very funny. Do I have no? Hold on. One of my subjects has to be producing wooden ships, right? Nope, the ones in Turkey are now all producing. It's only the regular shipyards in Turkey that are producing wooden-hulled ships. Well, that's quite curious. Let's go ahead and build ourselves a military shipyard in Galeti. And that should solve that problem. And obviously this will cost a little bit of cash, but I can afford it. I am very much winning my war in Turkey. So that's very good. Feeling very pleased about that. Running very lean militarily. That's okay. Cash flow is alright. I'm paying only a tiny amount in interest. And once the current slate of constructions is complete, I will be completely well-equipped to deal with that problem. There is another revolt happening in Ethiopia. An Ethiopian socialist revolt. Now, here's a question. Ethiopia is an autocratic monarchy. So if the Ethiopian socialists try the same thing the Turks tried, the Turkish ones tried, I might be okay with that. Oh, but they would be an autocratic council republic. Well, maybe not. Let's deal with some of our subjects' laws here. Marina Kingdom, gosh dang it, you need... Oh, God, it's real bad. You at least need agrarianism. Do it. Turkey... You got secession movements brewing. Interesting. You are at universal suffrage. There's central planning. You need to ban slavery, Turkey. I'm sorry, you gotta. They're not currently working on anything, are they? They're not. It's 1924, for Pete's sake. What to? You're working on agrarianism from traditionalism, that's good. Ethiopia, you're working on something. You're working on anti-strike laws from guild labor. Alright, that's fine. Legislation imposed on Turkey refused. They've refused our demand they enact slavery ban. The ambassador returns, bearing the news of rejection. They chose pride over progress, he reports. The silence that follows lies heavy in the council chamber. How ought we to react to such insubordination? I wish that having that happen unlocked options for you, but it doesn't necessarily. This war is almost done. Hungary is damaging relations. They are currently rebellious. Their liberty desire is going down real fast, though, so I'm not really worried about that. In fact, I can stop sharing knowledge with them at this stage, I feel. Their liberty desires... Oh! Well, that brought their liberty desire up. I didn't realize that would happen. I wasn't even paying attention. That was dumb. That was very silly. Well, we'll see what to make of that. With that having been said, the liberty desire is going down really, really fast, so hopefully it won't become a problem. Okay, that's good to know, though. Alright. I am not going to increase their autonomy, so that's increased their liberty desire by a little bit. They should now have the ability to demand independence, but... Well, because I stopped knowledge sharing with them. That was dumb. That was dumb of me. I did it dumb. I am back to reputable, so that should be helping keep my things sorted out. Galilee is going down in liberty desire real good at this stage. What about Gaza and Transvaal? I haven't been paying much attention to you folks. Gaza, you're in traditionalism. You've got to get to agrarianism. Zulu, you're in agrarianism. That's good. Gaza's enacting. Socialist rules in Ethiopia. You're in land-based taxation. I can't tell what would be better for you, so we'll leave that be for now. You got slave trade, you gotta ban slavery. They're working on it. They will be soon. Alright. Zulu is an active slavery ban. Beautiful. Alright, how are things looking in Ethiopia? We are winning our battles. Pretty pleased about that. Cash flow is doing just fine. We've got a gold reserve now. Economy is continuing to grow. Socialist revolt in Ethiopia is solved, and that means our troops are demobilized, making things a whole heck of a lot easier. So from here, what does our market need? It needs more radios, but does it need more telephones? That's right, I've got central planning now. So, is there anywhere I'm short of taxation capacity? Doesn't seem like, but let's first. So we're gonna go slow here, and we're basically gonna start swapping areas over to the telephone switchboard's tech, and that's gonna increase the demand for telephones in the country. Now, as this changes, that's also going to impact our taxation capacity in these areas really significantly. So, for example, in Western Serbia, our capital, we're way over. Although I'm going to leave Western Serbia for now. Eastern Serbia, we're also way over, so I can safely reduce the size of the government by a bit. I can still reduce it more, I think, but let's let a week go by and let it recalculate. Yep, I can drop it by even more. A more efficient government. What about Bosnia? Taxation capacity is really good in Bosnia. Let's swap over to telephone switchboards. And lose 4 levels and see what that does. Taxation capacity is still really good. I might be able to drop back to 6, in fact. Let me take one more look at this. Yeah, let's drop 2 more levels. Now I got to be careful about my bureaucracy. Actually, before I do this, let's do this. Let's move them all over. With Lyon. Oh, a Savoyard positivist rule. All right, I don't need to deal with that. That's not my business. It's an internal situation. Where's my government? My government. Where's my government? We'll go telephone switchboard maxing. Obviously, this is going to damage my cash flow somewhat, but it will... Oh, maybe it will not. Interesting. So let's take a quick look at my taxation capacity. I'm just going to kind of go down the line here. So Slovenia, we're significantly over. I can drop 2 levels without a problem. Good. Istria, taxation capacity, we're way over. I can drop, let's go with 6 levels. Taxation capacity is good to go. Croatia, taxation capacity is over, but not by that much. Let's drop 2 levels and make sure we're okay from there. Dalmatia, taxation capacity is way over. Oh, I already dropped off my levels in Dalmatia. Bosnia, did I do the same? Yes, I did. Slavonia, I can safely go down to 2. And I'm way over on taxation overall. Now, engaging the people. Enver Uglijani has embarked upon a dedicated campaign to organize the poor urban workers in Dalmatia, shaping them into a cohesive and powerful pro-social democratic party voting bloc. If any man, woman, or child is neglected, abandoned, and left with no voice or hope, how can we say that the Yugoslavian nation is truly civilized? The people of Dalmatia are awakened. 30% momentum to the Social Democratic Party. 5% of lower stardom pops in Yugoslavia become more loyalist. Dalmatia gets reduced political strength from wealth for 10 years. That's interesting. Or, the strategy should be repeated nationwide. Less momentum, no extra loyalists, but minus 5% political strength from wealth for the whole country for 5 years. I'm going to do the first one. I think the momentum matters more in the short term. Vojvodina, how's taxation capacity? Doing just fine. I can safely have the size of the government here without a problem. Banat looks the same. Let's drop to 2. Eastern Serbia, did I do already? I think I did. Montenegro. Taxation capacity is looking just fine. Let's cut down to 8. Might be good with 6. And a buffer of 100 is just fine. Kosovo. Taxation capacity is looking alright. Let's just drop it down to 6. No reason to go buck wild here. Albania, taxation capacity is pretty rock solid. I can go down to 2 without a problem. South Serbia. Taxation capacity is really clean. I can go down to 2 with no problem whatsoever. Macedonia, same deal. Thessaly. Looks like same deal. Good on me. Making such an efficient government. In fact, I'm making such an efficient government that I'm running myself out of bureaucracy. So let's wait. We're good. Maybe one more. Maybe one more. Dang it. Did I cut a university by accident? What do my other states have for universities? They got 6. Okay, no, I should be fine. The popularity contest. The eyes of the electorate are turned to the candidates that seek to acquire a position at the head of the government. As the election approaches, voters decide who would provide the best leadership for Yugoslavia. I quite like Chernigoj, mused one man at the bar. I couldn't say what it is I agree with him, but I think he has a good head on his shoulders. His neighbor spoke up. Enough to look past the company he keeps? Well, why not? God knows you could say the same about any of us. Nobody's better to handle a fool than his friend. Bostyan Chernigoy is the man of the hour. Extra momentum for the Radical Party, which is the rural folk, and he becomes more popular. A turn of Muhammad Arapovic is what the country needs. Extra momentum for the Conservative Party, and he becomes more popular. Or Militutin Brankovic is the character for the job. Extra momentum for the Social Democratic Party, and they get extra momentum, and he gets more popular. We'll go with the third one. We'll keep the Social Democrats in power. Let's let the week tick over, and then we'll see how the election looks. Election's looking really good for the Social Democrats. I feel vindicated. 80% momentum, gets us 66% of the vote. If the Radical Party goes up, that's probably fine. So maybe we could allow that to happen, but, you know, them's the breaks. It's not on me, is the primary thing. Galetti, I built you a military shipyard, and it's not hiring. Stop it! Why are you building steel-hulled ships? The thing we have a shortage of is the other ones. The Ionian feminist revolt offers to us an obligation if we back them against the Ionian Isles. So the Ionian Isles are a British subject, are they not? Yes. I will decline. I don't have any desire to fight the British. Hungary's liberty desire is going down. And I am improving relations, which is slowly, you know, improving relations. German Empire sides with Belgium. Oh, Belgium is fighting the British. Interesting. Hold on, what's going on over here? Belgium wants to nationalize all of the British buildings the British-owned buildings in Belgium, and and Germany wants to change the regime in Sierra Leone. This is interesting. I would definitely side against the British here. It looks like Mexico, Tuscany, and Portugal would all align against Britain, but I would also love not to be fighting a war. A little bit more authority to play with now, so let's go ahead and throw in a consumption tax. Let's tax cars. Cars are expensive. High ticket, large ticket item, high budget item. Empire of Japan sides with Great Britain. Okay, all the more reason for me not to get involved. Standard of living is going up at a pretty good clip. Investment pool is draining. Let's take a quick look at the market and see what we need. Right, I was going to build up steel capacity. That's what I was going to do. It looks like Carpathia is a little short on market access. Are their railways fully employed? They are, and they've got another level of building, so that shouldn't be a problem. Rent in this economy? The Orthodox Church have formally censured August Vidasek over an unconventional article in the Radical Party newspaper advocating for disruptive social policies. I would like to express my sincerest apologies for my article in the Gazette on Thursday. At the time, I've been speaking with several fellows about the deplorable state the renting situation has become in Western Serbia. Perhaps it is forever too soon to suggest polygamy as a viable solution for the working class. The sanctity of marriage must be protected, reduce momentum for the Radical Party. August Vidasek loses popularity, Orthodox Church gets a little stronger. Anything to make renting more bearable. Extra momentum for the Radical Party. August Vidasek becomes more popular, Orthodox Church weaker. Or you could just give them the money. Extra labor and socialist movement pop attraction and reduce momentum to the Radical Party. I'm going to do the middle one. I think letting them have a little bit of extra momentum is just fine. It seems like we've got a bug in this game where we have, where military markers on the large map stick around. I'm not sure how to deal with that. USGA sides with Great Britain. That's interesting. We really are doing a general European war over here, and it is making the game run real slow. So, I would love to be able to go after the USGA. Do the USGA have some sort of diplomatic situation with Great Britain? Let's find out together. They have an alliance with the Empire of Japan, and they've got a defensive pact with Canada. Canada, who is a dominion. Interesting. A dominion who has lost their northwestern territory. And Alaska is in the hands of Mexico, which is pretty fun. I have to admit, the temptation is extremely high to go after the USGA for a big old war goal. Like, if I liberated South Tyrol and Venice, I could pull in Sardinia-Piedmont into another war, and then maybe Italy could be unified, and that would be cool. Yeah, giving the Radical Party more momentum hardly changes the electoral prospects of anybody, so I'm not worried about that one bit. Let's increase the game speed. Nope, wait, I was going to build stuff. I was going to build more, I should have some telephones demand now, right? Right? Where's telephones? What kind of good are telephones? I genuinely don't know. That's a question I need to figure out the answer to. Telephones? Where are telephones? Oh, they're here. Okay. So telephones demand is pretty rock solid at this point. So we can safely increase our electronics industry by a significant amount. Let's say 50%. So how much electronics industry have we got right now? We got 10 levels. Let's go ahead and let's build a new set. Where's a place that we don't have a very high population? Slovenia's got a little bit of a standard of living situation going on. Let's build an electrics industry here. What about Dalmatia? Dalmatia's got our automotive industry. Albania is down bad a little bit. I got quite a bit of labor available. Let's build it here. Let's build 8 levels of electrics industries in Albania. Alright. So that should be good. Now, I was going to increase steel output. So for that, I need to look at where steel lives in the country. We've got a lot in Western... Okay, so a lot of these are low on employment, are underemployed. Profitable but underemployed. They would be potentially more profitable if they could use the electric arc process, but also that would cost a lot of electricity. And a lot of these places don't have the electricity to make that happen. So let's take a look. And 30 electricity per level basically means we need 50 levels of electric industries, of power plants in these areas in order for this to work. An equal number to the number of steel mills. So maybe this is a fool's errand I'm about to engage in. But maybe it won't be. So let's start with Istria. You need 50 levels of power plants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. South Serbia, you need 10 levels. Bosnia, you need 38 levels, but we'll just round it to 40. Western Serbia, you need 40, effectively. Kosovo, you need 20. And then finally, Montenegro, you need essentially 40. And we're going to slowly go over to electric arc process for our steel mills, and that's going to be good. Fruitful endorsements. In a gesture of solidarity with the Radical Party, Bozidar Plesnik has encouraged his supporters to vote for it in the ongoing election. For the interest of all principled people, the Radical Party has a consistent record of excellence. I cannot speak higher of those brave men and women moving Yugoslavia forwards under their name. Yes, our thanks, certainly, 30% momentum. Or his endorsement would best be more specific, 20% momentum, stronger rural folk. These are equivalent. I'm going to give them the momentum. Police brutality. The use of extreme force is becoming increasingly common among police officers in Slavonia. The working class and socially conscious are rallying against the police as an institution. Scarcely a week passes without their committing some offense which disgusts everybody but the magistrates. Boys are bruised by their ferocity, women insulted by their ruffianism. And that which brutality has done, perjury denies, and magisterial stupidity suffers to go unpunished. Police brutality is becoming one of our most venerated institutions. We cannot tolerate this behavior. Reduce law enforcement, rural folk, and intelligentsia happy, or the use of force is warranted. 5% of lower sternum pops in Slavonia become more radical. Armed forces and petite bourgeoisie happy. Reduced loan interest rate would be really nice, but increased infrastructure would also be really nice. I'm going to say we can't tolerate this behavior. Ultimately, it's down to radicalism, as it kind of always is. We're going to start increasing policing again. In the meantime, political migration. The rich and unstable political environment in Yugoslavia has proven attractive to political exiles and stateless people who have begun to congregate in the coffee houses of Belgrade. Oh, Belgrade, you flawed yet fiery jewel, where else could one see 3 different demonstrations within a 5 minutes walk? They're welcome to join the sea of voices, extra prestige, extra radicals from political movements. Kirill Budyoni becomes employed in Yugoslavia. He's a pious, inept land reformer aligned with the rural folk. Or these people make a mockery of Yugoslavia, reduce prestige, reduce radicals from political movements. I'm going to go with the first one. I think we need more prestige. I love prestige. I love being high in the prestige rankings. We're almost up to where Germany is, so that's pretty good. This is going to be a shorter episode. I'll probably call it as the election is getting done, or not too much longer here. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So that gives us the farmers' markets advantage. Hungary is successfully reduced to Liberty Desire 78. It's working. It's working. Ever-increasing influence. Members of the Anti-American Association have discreetly dispatched one of their number to amplify their mission in Yugoslavia's most widely read newspaper. The Anti-American Association has calculated with utmost mastery the dissemination of materials to secure a foothold in both the political world and the public's imagination. With great satisfaction in lobbyist comments, there is no denying that the number and reach of newspapers is ever expanding. This approach is sure to reach influential lawmakers to favor our scheme. What sets a bad precedent? Trade unions salty. Or this is ingenious, reduce legitimacy, increase the appeasement of the Anti-American Association. I'm going to help the trade unions be salty. Them's the breaks. They're already very pleased with the way the country is running. Perhaps after the election, we'll do a little bit more reform and see how that goes. Oh my goodness. 2 more events. The fruits of thy labor. Content with the new state of affairs in Yugoslavia and unwilling or unable to face the uncertainties that life abroad offers, Kirill Budyoni has officially announced his retirement from political life. So now he's off to Osijek, if the rumors are true, to paint, drink, and raise chickens. Seems that herding men gives one a taste for herding God's simpler creatures, too. Maybe he just likes chickens, Racine. Shut your bloody mouth, Bastian. Even firebrands cool off in the end. Stronger rural folk. Or let us honor his memory, a bust in Belgrade, perhaps. Happier rural folk. I'm going to go with happier rural folk. I think that's fine. Law and order. Pointing to the rampant turmoil from radical activities in Macedonia, the Conservative Party has campaigned on the platform of more policing. People seem to think that the flimsiest of political pretexts can be used to justify the chaos we see in Macedonia. If they have not thought of a pretext yet, our opponents are more than happy to provide them with it. We will not. We must send a strong message to those who would make a mockery of Yugoslavian law that they cannot escape justice. This wound has been allowed to fester for too long, 30% momentum, to the Conservatives, or the key to preventing crime is to prevent poverty, extra men for the Social Democrats. You know I'm doing that second one. Shabamzo. Get out of here, Conservative Party. I don't want you. You can't have the country. Alright, so we're almost done with our, well, actually we're not. This election has been going real slow. So we'll see how things go when the election finishes. Shabamzo. A Parliamentary Republic am I? I could still stay at 100 legitimacy if I brought the rural folk in. I would like that. This guy's a pacifist. What about this guy? This guy is a land reformer. Doesn't really change things up. I'll stay with the trade unions. So, what can I do? I can go to graduated taxation. That would actually produce more cash flow for the government, believe it or not. The industrialists and petite bourgeoisie would be salty about it. Particularly the petite bourgeoisie. Let's leave that one alone. Racial segregation, I can technically go to multiculturalism. I don't need to change that, though. Anti-strike laws. I'm going to go to right to associate. This is going to make my trade unions even stronger. It's going to make the industrialists mad and the petite bourgeoisie a little mad, but I can live with that. I'll be completely happy with them being salty. Number of loyalists is doing really, really well. We're getting a ton, mostly from high legitimacy. Okay, so it seems like they finally fixed the 100 legitimacy not leading to ticking loyalists bug. Now, if I wanted to go after the United States of Greater Austria, well, I can't do liberate country. That's my primary demand. Okay, so Venice. They might accept. If they don't, Canada is likely to align with them, though the Empire of Japan is not. It would be extremely funny if they said yes. Well, the Empire of Japan still might. It would be extremely funny if I did this. So funny. Comedy sized large. I do need to finish. Let me finish with the electric industries before I press this button. I suspect the USGA is going to be quite weak. I can pull in. Oh no, this is an alliance, so I do have the ability to pull Germany in. Okay, so I got the plastics method. That's very good. Let's take a quick look at our glassworks. If I go houseware plastics, it's going to take a lot of oil. Perhaps too much oil. How much oil have I got in the market? Quite a bit. It wouldn't be a shortage. Let's wait until next week. And that should have oil back up at the top here. Yep. Okay, demand is high. I'm going to remove import tariffs. And I should have plenty of oil capacity to develop. Let's go oil maxing. I've got oil in Baghdad and I've got oil in Basra. Let's move this ahead of all these power plants. This is probably not the most efficient way to do this, but it's the way I've chosen to do it, and I'm not going to stop now. Boy, I sure queued in a ton of power plants, friends. My nerds, maybe this was too ambitious of a project. Or maybe I could have simply reordered these in a much more efficient manner. There we go. Perfect. Alright, and what this is going to do is, number one, it's going to provide us with a bunch more glass. If I completely tank the price of glass, let's Savine export of glass. The world market needs our glass. If I also Savine, so this will also increase the porcelain supply, which I'm also subvening the export of. So that should be fine. I'm paying quite a bit in subventions, mostly for steel. But that's keeping the steel industry productive, so, you know, that's good. Come on, give me right to associate. I'm finally enacting a new law. The new law. I've been on, you know, anti-strike laws or whatever since, or combination acts. I've been on the middle ground law for a long time. So this will be new. Discord within the rural folk. An influential faction within the rural folk has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of right to associate. Themselves in favor of the law, they've now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. How can you all stand idly by and watch the world pass before your eyes? Have you no sense of honor, of duty to your fellow man? I say nay to such lack of ambition. I dare say I am not alone in this. With their support, the bill shall pass, extra enactment success chance, a slightly weaker rural folk, or the trade unions extend an open hand to these mavericks. Significantly weaker rural folk, stronger trade unions, not as much enacted success chance. I'm going with that second one. Puts a 61% success chance, which I'm feeling pretty pleased about. Cash flow is good while building. Petite bourgeoisie have become salty, reducing my taxation capacity. That's fine. Let's just build up a couple more levels of taxation capacity in our core. I think 4 levels should be more than sufficient, actually, because I got the higher production method for government now, and that should allow me to do what I wish. I've got a situation going on in Witu, a radical revolt. That is just fine. Let's mobilize and send some troops. Happily, Witu is holding most of the country this time around, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. Because I think this is going to give us like 300 capacity. Let's find out together. Because throughput bonuses are going to impact that pretty significantly. Alexander Ivans, exiled from the United States of Greater Austria, an ethno-nationalist aligned with the industrialists, which colonized Rufi. That's good. Oh. Rufi, where is that? What state is that? That's Tanganyika. This is Rift Valley. This is Uganda. This is Rift Valley. Can't tell. Weird. Oh, maybe it's down here. Ah, yes. Colonizing, haha. Excellent. Alright, let's build up a couple more government sectors just to get us a little bit of a buffer. Preemptive strikes. What a great event name. The news of the government's efforts to enshrine the right to associate has spread rapidly through working-class communities. The industrialists have begun to complain about a corresponding uptick in illegal union activity. The moment the government announced its initiative, the posters started appearing. The vain efforts of the night watchmen to catch the perpetrators bore no fruit, forcing the firm into damage control. Every night, the walls were plastered, and in the morning, the company filled the bins to last night's efforts. The very next week, the garbage men announced their new union. Ordered the courts to disregard these complaints. Salty industrialists increase enactment success chance, or the present laws remain in effect. Machinists and laborers become more radical, but industrialists happier. Ooh, I'm going to say the present laws remain in effect. This is a country, we are a nation of laws, as we love to say in the United States. But basically, having the industrialists be happier is going to be very useful in the medium term in terms of making this happen, because they're the ones likely to make this hard to do. Let's take a quick look at the oil situation. Let me filter to industrial goods. I think oil is an industrial good, technically. Okay, oil is still really, really affordable. We're importing a bunch of it now, though. I'm gonna throw an import tax on oil. I'm trying to build up my oil industry, and I don't necessarily want this. Subventions costs is going up because the subvention for glass is costing us a good amount. But that's good. That means that that the subvention for glass is working. Force comparison here looks rock solid. I'm not at all concerned about that. Give me a success, right to associate. Come on. You know you want to make friends with who you want to make friends with. Aircraft carrier unlocked. Score. There's the two radical revolt popping off. That premium armaments is losing profit, unfortunately. Where's the event? Plastic production. The switch to plastics in our glassworks is set to revolutionize the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a world first. Behold this perfectly carved ivory chess piece. Beautiful, no? What if I were to tell you that it is not ivory at all, but a new material known as plastic? Plastic is the future. Extra Glassworks throughput. Where we should spread this knowledge. Romania gets progress on plastics and improves relations. Look at the second one. I don't really need Glassworks throughput right now. How's Hungary doing? Hungary is down in liberty desire. All right, we're gonna leave them be for now. What about Galeti? Galeti is low, but I can't reduce their autonomy until Hungary is below 65, because I goofed it real bad last time. Macua, that you're a country. Right to associate got up to 75%. Chemical warfare spreading. That's not a bad sign at all. Yeah, I guess we are in 1926, so it is really the end game. You know, I took too long to get my university system built up, and I never really got ahead on technology. So I think that's part of what's happened here. USGA has been pieced out. So I could if I now liberate Venice, 20% chance they'll say yes. No one will stop me. Let's do it. They've said no, unfortunately. That's fine. We'll get the lads together. What kind of army do they have? So they have the ability to fight me on tech. Not really. I don't think I'm going to need all my conscripts for this, though. I'm only going to raise one army's worth of conscripts. And hopefully, that doesn't become a mistake. My army's going to come back from Witu in probably actually as soon as the next battle's done, which should be plenty of time for them to get involved in... Oh, nope, I'm losing this one. No, I'm not losing this one. Haha, got him. So good at things. Alright, so that's the Witu Radical Revolts. Let's bring the second army back to Austria. Force comparison looks rock solid here, so I'm not really worried about this at all. Do I want to throw any additional war goals on here? Let's also snag South Tyrol, and then we'll just give it to Sardinia-Piedmont for money. They want to steal Istria, that's fine. Again, nobody has any desire to get involved on their side at present. So if I do a conquer on South Tyrol... Wait. If I can sway in Sardinia-Piedmont... I can give them South Tyrol, and then it's not my infamy. Only Germany. Sardinia-Piedmont doesn't want to get in on this? You dorks? Oh, they have a truce. Well, that makes sense. Alright. So if I conquer South Tyrol, it's only 17 infamy. I can conquer it on behalf of Greece like a weirdo. Let's do it. Let's conquer South Tyrol. It's going to slow up things, but that's okay. Well, I'm not worried about Argentina, that's for damn sure. Army's on my way back. Let's grab my fleet and bring them up to Central Mediterranean. Russia is damaging relations. Cool. Cambodian Radical Revolt wants an obligation for support. No, thank you. I think this force comparison is really solid. Let's take a look at their armies. New Grenada stands with them. That's fine. Yeah, they're very solidly lower tech than me. Why are a bunch of countries in South America siding with Austria? That's curious. Really curious. And Brazil. That's really weird. Alright. Let's actually raise a few more conscripts, shall we? I still don't think I'm going to need too many conscripts on this. Let's go ahead and increase the size of the government a little more. And then once this set is done, we'll stop building, and that'll deal with our cash flow issue. Unfairly denied entry. Kovango Bantu people in eastern Serbia are being blocked from entering certain businesses by some local Serbian people. I've been going to this shop for years. Why is there suddenly a sign in the window saying people like me aren't welcome anymore? Everyone must be allowed, reduced authority, or shopkeepers can sell or not sell to who they like, -1 standard of living modifier. That's not too bad. I'll go with the second one. Gotta keep my authority up, because I'm trying to both pass a law and fight a war. Come on, give me a success. Come on, right to associate. Let's go. Grassroots support for law. Alright, actually this number is not making me feel comfortable at all, so we're going to mobilize the rest of our conscripts. This will be an expensive war, but that's okay. The political wills and desires of the lower classes will always remain an opaque matter. For whatever reason, support for right to associate has spread like wildfire across Yugoslavia, spurred on by charismatic speakers and lively debates in small-time social clubs. They're backing what now? Well, who are we to complain? While their support was never a prerequisite for success, it sure doesn't hurt to have it either. Public enthusiasm expedites reform, stronger labor movement, stronger trade unions. How strong is our labor movement? Yeah, that's okay. Or use this common ground to calm the masses. 20% of lower Serbian pops in Croatia become more loyalist. That's a huge number of people. I'm going to go with the loyalists. Hell yeah. Come on, let me see that number. Yeah, there we go. Heck yeah. That was like 40,000 people or something. An absurd number. Lots of enemies coming in here. Alright, that's good. Now we pause government construction. Capital interests. The interests of the industrialists and the lucrative sugar trade with Russia have led them to begin lobbying in favor of closer ties with Russia. Does the increased volume not permit for more risk? Quite the opposite. When a deluge of money enters one's pocket, one becomes predisposed to mania. An extra coin to a waiter, a formerly shocking fee paid off with a smile. If one is not careful, one ceases to look at their ledgers. One ceases to even look at their ledgers. They pay more than they ever did, and this is the road to ruination. An excellent point. Will it justify the deployment of warships? It had better. If not, perhaps a donation will. A toast to our prosperity, new pro-country lobbies created targeting Russia, or our relationship should remain strictly transactional. Industrialists, weaker. I'm going to do the second one. Weakening the industrialists is good for our overall build. So, at this stage, how's the price of oil? Price of oil is doing well. We're mostly producing all of our own oil, which is good. Price of glass is down. Price of porcelain is down as well. All right, that's looking good. So the glassworks should be doing just fine. All right, large armies approaching as allies of our enemies. Do I want to call Germany into this thing? I think I do, just to be safe. They have a truce. I can bring in Occitania. Do I want to do that? I don't think so. What do they want? They want a war goal, a regime change in Corsica. Well, that's an interesting option. Brazil has an interest over here. Interesting. That's quite curious. You know what, Occitania, regime change in Corsica is just fine with me. Hungary is in. Very cool. We got allies coming in. We are mobilizing. I'm going to set my armies to defend. Because I think I want to wear the enemy down a little bit before I get going forward. Because 15 force comparison is okay, but it's not great. Our forces are increasing in strength. War has broken out. How could this have happened? Let's go ahead and raid convoys some. Let's raid convoys and blockade. We'll have to progress this study. Wonderful. So we'll stop Austria from trading. Force comparison is rapidly increasing in favor of our side. We are at above 21. Let's continue to wait. I think once I get above 30, I'll be happy to go forward. French play against Normandy. Oh my goodness. There is a radical revolt in Ethiopia. Another one. Ethiopia, they might not be able to handle this. on their own. I don't wish to send an army down there. But I might have to, unfortunately. We'll send our smallest army to deal with it. And unfortunately, this will be a little bit of a distraction. But that hasn't altered our force comparison too much. Alright, the enemy is pushing forward. We're up to 24. Again, if we can get to 30, which we will before too long. It's a blockade! Wonderful. Then we'll start advancing. 28, okay. Getting there, getting there. 29. And 30. Alright. Advance! Alright, now we'll start moving forward. So our goals are South Tyrol and Venice. Let's set... Nope, that's the naval invasion button. Strategic objective, strategic objective, Venice. Finally, strategic objective, Venice. Although probably, if we can just take over the country, it'll be fine. Alright, our offense is huge compared to them. I should have checked my mobilization methods before starting the war. We're good, we're maxed out. Alright, that should be good. Karen, National Awakening. Oh no, speaking to the manager intensifies. Dealing in arms. The establishment of munitions plants in eastern Serbia ensures an abundant supply of ammunition for Yugoslavia. I resent the term arms dealer. It implies that I am no more than a cynical profiteer, benefiting from the suffering of my fellow man. Nothing could be further from the truth. What I do guarantees peace and security, not only in Yugoslavia, but throughout the civilized world. If you want peace, prepare for war. Munitions plants throughput. Munitions plants throughput is just fine. I'm in the middle of a war here. My army has not yet arrived in the Ethiopian radical revolt, so here's hoping the other fellas can hold on. Oh, interesting. The United States of Greater Austria is siding in a war with Japan over something going on over there, but I don't think that's going to matter for much longer, because if I can win my war, then they're not going to have access to the sea. Chile sides with the Empire of Japan, so this is Russia going after Japan. And what over? They want to steal a bunch of Japan. Japan wants to fight them about it. Well, I can safely ignore all that business. I am winning my wars in Greater Austria, and if I can continue to do that, then I can simply go forward with stomping all over everyone. By which I mean, of course, seeing to the formation of Italy. Alright, there's the Ethiopian radical revolt sorted out. Let's get the 3rd Yugoslav army back to Yugoslavia. My non-backs down. Okay, interesting. Is there an event popping off? There is. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding the right to associate, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the trade unions, has staged a widely acclaimed play, whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. Right to associate will be on everyone's lips now. Sure puts the trade unions in a good light, or ensure the play gets a wider international audience. I'm going for that prestige. Let's see. So, we're pretty close to achieving full occupation of Venice. We got one more battle here, which we're winning handily. And then it'll be on to South Tyrol, and that will basically be the end of the war. We've sunk a lot of enemy convoys, really a lot. The fact that all of my allies are in... the fact that all of my enemies' allies are in South America has made their position really, really bad in terms of the supply game. Tigray uprising in Egypt, I don't need to worry about that. I do still need to invade Corsica. So let's grab one of these. So we're gonna have to halt the blockade. The army we've got coming up is the 3rd Yugoslavian army. So let's go ahead and make that invasion happen using them. It's gonna go pretty fast. Okay, so now we've achieved full control of Venice. If we can get South Tyrol. That'll be good to go as well. We are progressing forward in Styria. Not progressed to voting. Wonderful. So that puts us even closer to right to associate. How long has this episode been going on? We're in about an hour 45. I may put a pin in it. Yeah, I think we're going to put a pin in it pretty soon. Let me just wait till this battle finishes. Force comparison here is looking really good, so I'm feeling pretty confident about my ability to win here. Nobody is defending Corsica in any kind of meaningful way. So that shouldn't be too difficult to get forward in. Improving relations with Japan has continued. Improving relations with Hungary has continued. They are getting down in war support, actually, or in liberty desire. A little bit of a Freudian slip there. So I think at this point I can safely reduce Galetti's autonomy back to protectorate. Oh, I can't do it right now because has not been changed in the last 5 years. Oh, interesting. That's fascinating. I didn't realize that was a factor. All right. So, but are we taking South Tyrol? We need to be taking South Tyrol, lads. All right. Corsica has sorted itself out. Where is the 3rd Yugoslav army? The 3rd Yugoslavian army is over here. In Occitania, they need to be fighting the Austrians. We're going to go back to raiding convoys. Admittedly, I've eaten through almost my entire buffer, almost my entire cash reserve here, and it looks like I'm going to go into debt to fight this war, but it's been worth it. Gosh, we've done a lot of damage to the enemy. We've suffered pretty modest casualties overall, I would say. I say as though the war is done, which it very, very much is not, but I'm feeling extremely confident. All right, 90% success chance. We're on our 3rd stage, so right to associate it's gonna be done real fast now, I hope. Here's hoping we complete it on the next pass. If we don't complete it on the next pass, we might need to go into next year. We've got 2 more winning battles happening here in Austria. Huge armies moving into what looks like Tyrol. Again, South Tyrol is what we need. So Austria, let's take a look. Will you grant what I desire? Doesn't seem like it. Again, I don't think I need to conquer South Tyrol for this to work, but I would like to, because I would like to trade South Tyrol to Sardinia-Piedmont. Because again, I want Italy to get formed, and I think Italy has a pretty high chance of getting formed at this stage. If we can simply get Sardinia-Piedmont the states they need. Very close to having full control of South Tyrol. We got control of Tyrol. Oh no, we're only at 75% for Tyrol. So we'll need another battle. I was looking at this number, the force comparison number first. But one more battle in each state should be enough. The other side of the fence. People have been complaining about the difference in living standards between us and our neighbors in Greece. After the doors swung shut, they exchanged a meaningful glance. She didn't even notice you gave her the wrong change. Why do you think I'd do it? Her sort, they can afford it. I'll be damned if the Greek think they can come here and flaunt their wealth expecting us to just tolerate it. This is simply an example of global inequality, happier and stronger trade unions. Clearly they're liars or cheap foreigners out of their money, deteriorates relations, or it's the way things are not worth thinking about. 5% of pops in Thessaly become more radical. It's just global inequality, lads. Stronger trade unions is something I will pick most of the time, given the option. So Austria still has war support protection, but not for much longer, because there we go. All right, so from this point, and there's military aviation. So now they are at negative war support. Let's see what it looks like. They still wouldn't be okay with granting us that which we desire, so we need to get firm control of the country. Which shouldn't be too much more. The only other state they've got is Austria, and our force comparison is 96. And there is right to associate. No special restrictions are placed upon formation or activity of labor associations. Stronger trade unions, reduce radicals from political movements, stronger labor movement pop attraction. So this is good. We've achieved an even a bigger political right, and that has been just a huge benefit for us. Wow, Russia is still devastated from the war that happened, like the one that ended in the middle of last episode. That's a lot of devastation. So hopefully once this battle concludes... Alright, there we go. We've got control of all of the United States of Greater Austria. So at this point, it shouldn't be a problem. Why does New Grenada have a freaking stake in this thing? Curious. Alright, well, let's take an army and invade New Grenada, shall we? Let's take an army and invade Rio de Janeiro. I think Brazil getting in on this is the thing that is going to matter. Although, again, Austria should be... Austria will capitulate soon. They've only got another 3 weeks worth of war support. But still, it's important to... when you're fighting a war, you've got to fight your war. You can't simply stand about and hope your enemies will allow the war to end on good terms. Exile from the Khalsaraj, that doesn't seem to be something that I need to concern myself with. Oh, the French and the Americans are fighting. Curious. Oh, I guess the Americans came in to support Normandy or whoever. Oh, was it Brittany? No, it was Normandy. Yeah. Alright, so this should be Austria bailing out of the war. So those two things. Venice supports Italian unification. Alright, that's beautiful. That's exactly what we wanted. And so as soon as we can... Argentina has bailed out of the war, so as soon as we can invade Brazil, that should get them out of the war. Do I really need regime change in Corsica? Oh, Occitania needs it. Well, them's the breaks. Anti-American Association offers opportunity. The Anti-American Association has offered us an opportunity to establish a foreign investment rights agreement with Great Qing. Their proposal, if accepted, is intended to counter American interests. It was a veiled sort of aggression, one which could, in theory, appeal to both ardent jingoists and those who preferred to mitigate losses. It would force the enemy to respond, possibly drive them to a reckless confrontation in response to a seemingly benign maneuver. A plan to fight the United States to the last chain, one minister remarked. The representative flushed. He'd practiced responses along both lines, but none of them quite fit. I'm going to say we'd be happy to pursue this because it's 1928, and... Well, also, I would love to have investment rights in China. So, you know, that's also a thing. Behind bars. Stop hitting me with events. I'm trying to finish my war. The arrest and alleged ill treatment of a disorderly protester affiliated with the South German national movement has sparked resentment among his compatriots. Further demonstrations have been arranged, urging his release. Prison was a miserable place. Iron bars, stone walls, and cold floors. In the past few weeks, the guards had taken to casually tapping their batons against the bars when they passed by, making sleep impossible. He could not even escape in his dreams, as the tension he felt in the waking world would begin to bleed into his sleep as well. And all this for pushing a policeman away? He had regretted it at first. Now, though, perhaps he could see that every one of them deserved that and more. Perhaps an early release for good behavior can be exchanged, reduced movement activism and trade unions salty, or we will not make an exception because of some hooligans, increased political movement activism, trade unions happier. I'm going to do the first one. Again, I can afford to piss off the trade unions since I've just given them right to associate. First comparison here is not as good as I was hoping, but again, I'm really hoping that as soon as they get... Because they don't have war support protection at this time, so one more week, and they should be at negative war support. And then, I should be able to piece them out. Alright, beautiful. Post that peace deal. They accept. We've achieved all of our goals. Sardinia-Piedmont, my lads. How would you like South Tyrol? What would you give me for South Tyrol? Would you take on my debt? They wouldn't. He can't afford 13 million pounds, huh? What if I throw in A power block embassy. No, they don't desire that much. Okay, so that's not going to work. What if you just pay me for it? Cash transfer. Let's go with 5,000 to start. Really? That's too much, huh? Ah, bastards. You know what? Law commitment. Let women vote. Okay, they won't accept letting women vote. They're a wealth voting theocracy. Please go to dedicated police force. Really? Minus 400? What about investment rights? Investment rights are unavailable because I've already got investment rights there. All right, well, them's the breaks. You know what? Have the state. I don't need it. Form Italy, you bastards. I know that's not the way countries typically operate, but it's the thing that I was here for, and I don't need North Tyrol. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the episode, my nerds. This has been a roaring good time. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.